Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm glad to be here and excited on this great invitation. I'm glad there are so many people who are online, and I believe we are going to benefit from each other. No one has a monopoly of knowledge. So I'm quite happy to be talking to professionals, leaders, and future leaders of this country. Within us, I can imagine some of you are going to be CEOs, some of you are going to be presidents, some of you are going to be CFOs, all this as we go on in our different professions. I was invited by Joshua and I was surprised he chose me among the many Adventist professionals, but I'm glad that I was invited. I would like to share my screen. I don't know if I can be allowed. Hello, can you see my screen? You can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. So Winston Churchill once said that there are three most difficult things for a man to do. One is to climb a building leaning towards him. The second one is kissing a lady leaning away from you. The third one is delivering a public speech. I'd like to say that it's even more difficult now that you do everything online. You can barely see the people you are speaking to. But I believe by God's grace today, we are going to share, and none of this is going to affect our presentation. The topic I was given is being an innovative human resource. Being an innovative human resource. Now, innovative human resource, I would like to define some words here, and I would like to define innovative and then human resource, and then we can see if we can define them. So that is the introduction. When we say innovative, we are talking about introducing new ideas, new methods, new ways of doing things, new devices. All this is when we are talking about innovation. Some synonyms is innovation is groundbreaking, modern, novel, advanced, original, unprecedented, high quality. All these are for innovation. When COVID came around, you started hearing of this word, unprecedented, because it was something completely new. It's not something which people had seen before. Now, the other word here is human resource. Human resource is manpower, labor, personnel. Someone has defined it as the set of people who make the workforce of an organization, a business, a sector, an industry, or an economy. So that is the manpower, the labor, the personnel, or simply put, it's the people. So innovative human resource, I could say, is people with new ideas. That's what I want to call it. People who are exciting, people who are coming up with groundbreaking ideas, innovative ideas, innovative human resource. So it has been said that the only thing which is permanent is change. Every day, certain things might stay the same, but there's one thing which is always changing, and that is change. And that is part of the innovation. So life is changing. There's a video which I had shared with Joshua. I don't know if he could run it or how we're gonna do it, so that it shows you how the telephone has changed with time. Joshua, are you able to run it? As he's preparing to do that, there are new versions of everything that we see today. the cars that we drive. When the car started, the Ford Model T, when you wanted to start the engine, you got out and you cranked it. When you crank it, it's kicked in. But with time, different kinds of cars have come. We have now 4-stroke engines. We have cars with carburetors. We have cars with EFI, electronic fuel injection. We have manual cars. Now with time, manual cars are changing to automatic cars. We have electric cars, and things are changing. Every time, things are changing. That is innovation. We have hybrid cars. All this is innovation. Let's look at computers. Computers have changed with time. When I started using a computer, it was called a mainframe. Very huge machine with diodes, with lights. It was the size of a big fridge. But nowadays, you see, we have small laptops. A lot has changed. At that time, the language was Fortran. Then they came up with BASIC. Then now they came up with DOS. Then when you are saving information, you'll put it on a floppy drive. Then they brought it cassettes for storage. Then CDs. I think that is very recent. You people must have seen CDs. But now when you go to the shop to buy a new computer, it doesn't have even a CD drive. Then now we have been using flash drives. And now the even more than now, innovation, you can now save all your stuff in the cloud. You don't have to physically save it in a floppy drive or on a flash disk. What does that mean? At high school and the university, for me, I'm talking about my experience, while we were studying architecture, we were able to use T-squares. I think you must have seen T-squares with tracing paper. We were using tracing paper. We were using T-squares. We were using razor blades. When you wanted to erase, you used a razor blade. We were using special pens, different sizes. They were called rotring pens. So you would have one which is smaller one, which is 0.1, then the bigger one, which was 1.0. All this is how we started. But with time, things have changed. We don't see any T-squares anymore. You don't see any tracing paper. The rotring pens, that company actually ran out of business. We used to have templates. When you wanted to draw a car, you had a template. When you wanted to put up trees or humans, you had a template. All those, because of innovation, have changed. Those is the initial software operating system we were using when we were doing AutoCAD. AutoCAD is a software which is used for drawing. Then with time, Windows came along. So we changed from Windows 12, I remember, then we came to the current Windows which we are using. That's all innovation. Things are changing. The kind of software we currently use is called ArchiCAD. ArchiCAD, you use 3-dimensional drawings. AutoCAD used to have 2-dimensional. 2-dimensional means it's on a flat surface. But when you do 3-dimensional, that means you can see it in whole. So in the 3-dimensional, we now using ArchiCAD, which is one of the softwares, a very powerful software. We use it to do updating of drawings. You are even able to do a fly-through through a building. You are able to walk into a building even before you build the house. You have rendering. All this is because of changes. Changes are coming. Innovation is coming. And one has to change. If you don't change with the time, you'll be left behind. In the ArchiCAD presentation, you find you have colors. You can even paint a room. You can paint the exterior of a building so that people can perceive what kind of color you're going to have when the product is finished. So this is change. I'm talking about change within my lifetime. I've seen so many things changing within just a lifetime, and knowledge is increasing every day. People are pursuing new ways of doing things. Now, what does this mean for you young people, you young professionals, those of you who are just joining the market? What does it mean? How are you going to fit in? How are you going to stay with the pack? People have said that if you don't continue running, the other people from behind will run over you. You need to do something. You need to run with the pack so that you are not left behind. So number one, as a young person or a fresh professional, you need to upskill. You need to add value to what you already have. You should not stop reading. You should not stop learning. If you are doing a BCom degree, for instance, you need to do KCCA courses. You need to do some accounting courses to upskill. You need to add value to what you already have. For instance, myself, I did my architecture many years ago, but it took me another 7 years to go and study for my master's, because I realized that whereas, yes, I was an architect, I needed to add value. And what I went to study as my second degree was business, because you just don't want to know how to be a good architect. You need to know how to spend money, how to keep the money, how to strategize. All this we were not taught in the School of Architecture. So you need, after you've done whatever course you've done, you need to upskill, you need to add value. Identify where your passion is. Do something that you enjoy. Study something which adds value for you. Don't just go straight to another course, do a master's, do a PhD, unless probably you want to be an academician, which is okay as well. But if you want to survive in the market, you cannot stop learning and learning and relearning. There's always a process. There's always time you must keep to learn all these things. Number two, collaboration. You must collaborate with others. You cannot do it alone. Someone has said that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with other people. You need to collaborate. In my case, our company is called Creations Consult, which is one of the leading architectural consultancy firms in Uganda. I have two partners. One of them is called Dr. Ian Senkatuka, who is a very good planner. He is a lecturer at Makerere, so he also brings new ideas of how the architectural industry is changing. He's a good planner, and we work together. I have another partner, is called Stephen Ochola, who is a great interior designer. When it comes to making sure the interior of a building looks great, that's where he is. So we collaborate, and that gives us the synergy. The synergy is where you work together with others, where 1 + 1 is not 2. 1 + 1 can be 3, it can be 4, it can be more because of collaboration. So I would encourage all of you, as you are going out into the market, or as you are in the market, to see the need of collaboration. Collaboration. It gives you an edge. The next thing is network. Someone has said your network is equivalent to your net worth. The kind of people you interact with will determine how far you go. Are you dealing with people who are moving up or who are moving down? Are they people who are adding value to you, or they are people who are just talking? There are people who just like talking. When you ask them what they have achieved, they don't tell you. You need to look for a network. You could join networks like Rotary clubs. There's a business network where I'm part of. It's called BNI, where they talk about networking as a business, where you reach out to people and these other people reach out to others and talk about your business. So look for a good network and use it. Associate with people who are moving up. To succeed, you must rely on others. You cannot do it alone. The more people you know, the more opportunities you get. Because if you're just sitting at your home, you're not going online, no one sees you, no one knows about you. You need to come out and be seen. Like when you see a mango tree and you see so many stones below, that's because there's a beautiful mango up there. Maybe it's ripe or it's looking very nice. People have been trying to throw stones on it. And that's why you can see so many stones which are down. But if the mango trees are still green, no one will be bothered. So your network determines your net worth. your net worth. The more people you know, the more opportunities you get. Meet people who are going places. Always look for people who are going places. Someone has also said that you are an average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. If you are surrounding yourself with poor people, 5 of them, you're gonna be poor. If you surround yourself with people who are forward-looking, people who are looking at the future, who have strategies, who have goals, who have plans, then you work together with them. You aspire to be like them. So look for mentors. Look for people who can support you, people who can dream along with you, people who will support your goals. So this is not an age of go-getters. It's an age of go-givers. The more you give others, the more they will want to give back to you. If you give some people, you support them in something, they will also want to support you. Lastly, read. You need to read and read. Right now, they say the most successful people read so many books. It's because you learn from people's experiences, those who have gone ahead of you. So when you read someone's book, you don't have to go through what that person has gone through. It helps you to leapfrog to the next level by reading the person's book. So there are webinars. We are now talking about webinars. We talk about audiobooks. There are seminars. Even me as an architect who has been around for some time, we go for what they call CPDs, continuous assessment of what we are doing. We go for them so that we know of the new trends, the innovations which have come into the market, the new materials which are in use, the new design methods. All this comes to support what you are doing. If you are not able to do that, you'll be left behind. So imagine if you have 2 hours per day of reading and you are reading 5 days. So in 5 days, in a week, you'd have gotten 10 hours. So those 10 hours of personal development, they are very important. Learn new things every day. Whatever skills you have are becoming obsolete. Every day, the skills are changing. So don't, after getting your degree or as you are starting work, say that, oh, I'm done. This is it. You must continue changing with the times. The world is changing so fast, you can't just believe it. So part of your life should be learning. Rapid changes in the information world, especially the technological world, there's so much rapid. So pick your passion, volunteer to pursue a certain passion by reading, and that will make you a better person. Lastly, I want to say this. In Philippians 4 verse 13, we are told to put God first. Put God first. Put God first in whatever you're doing. Because God is the one who enables us to do what we are able to do. It's the one who supports us. It's the one who inspires us. So create time to study God's word. When you read in the Bible, there are great mentors in the Bible. So the book of Philippians talks about, I can do all things through Christ who does what? Who strengthens me. So even if you are having challenges, put God first. God is always there. So include God in your plans. He'll be able to support you. I've done a lot of work for different faiths. I've done work for the Catholics. I've done for Anglicans. I've done work for the Indian, the Hindus. They call them the Swamirayans. These people, one thing I've seen, and I can tell you without you doubting what I'm saying, is they believe in their God. Whichever God they worship, they believe in that God. So it's all the more reason that we as Christians, we should also claim all the promises as the Bible tells us. If you trust in God, he'll be able to help you to even achieve your plans. So I have some common threads of learning. If you can take a screenshot of that, those are free educational sources on the internet. This is information which you'll get without paying. You just get it. You go online. Everyone now is online. You look at Harvard Extension, the Skillshare. All these have information which is free but can make a difference in your life. In the human knowledge, in the 1900s, human knowledge doubled approximately every 100 years. By the end of 1945, the rate was every 25 years. Today, human knowledge doubles every 13 months. That is innovation. Innovation is taking place every 13 months. And you as a human resource, as a person, if you do not change, if you do not change with these new ways of doing things, you'll be left behind. As you are aware, you must have seen people using typewriters, but now if you are employing somebody, somebody is being hired, if you came to work for me, I'll tell you, do you have a laptop? So you must have competence, innovation. Don't be left behind. When you look at that picture, just look at it. We had those mobile phones, the one on the far left. Then there was one which was the size, we used to call it a block. The far left one was called a block. Then we had some with the aerial. I think you people must have seen the third one, the Nokia. It was a 3210. I think it was a 3210. It was one of the most common phones which was used. But with time, you can see the phones have changed. They have changed. Now we have smartphones. Even the smartphones have changed. You can see now the latest is a smartphone, it's a full screen. There before, the screen was smaller. So being an innovative human resource equals constant evolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Architect Matoya. Thank you for the presentation. Just to, not to change or to, but just to summarize probably for those who have just joined, you must always be able to upskill, add a skill every day. We are told that the skills you are having now may not be necessary tomorrow. So you have to keep evolving constantly. Also collaborate, work with other people, network, also read a lot. And most importantly, he shared with us that we should put our God first. Just like we said at the start, you can keep your questions or write them in the chat. But at the moment, I don't see any question in the chat yet, but we shall have questions, a general question moment at the time, at the end, sorry. So let's keep our questions coming, or you can write them in the chat or you can note them somewhere. Thank you very much for that presentation, being an innovative human resource. Now at this point is my humble, let me take this opportunity to invite Mr. Martin Ssekajja, who will present on placing yourself in the career ladder.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Yes, I know that not everyone could respond. I'm extremely humbled to be here to make a presentation on the subject matter. I want to thank Elder for sharing with us. I have fond memories with Elder, and I want to thank him for the contribution he has made in so many people's lives. You know, when someone speaks so many words, at least speak something to learn. The honest truth is that ever since I met Elder Matoya, I've been able to learn at least one thing that I put into action, and I never have regrets. At first, it was something to do with a men's retreat somewhere, and he gave us hints about things that people would face. And another time I met him and told him I have this business idea, how do we handle it? And he gave me some insights. And I also met him once, I invited him to speak about retirement planning in 2017. And a lot of the insights he gave, I did start implementing. I have now a forest of trees because he gave us some idea. He was speaking to the church generally, but out of his speech, I went immediately and started on my retirement planning. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be here once again. Allow me to share my screen to share. Could you please give me permission to share? Okay, thank you. Okay. Yes, I hope you can see my screen. If you confirm, I'll start immediately. Hello?
We can see the screen.
Yes, thank you.
I would like to request that our third speaker, Mr. Paul Mugabi, has an emergency. So I have a kind request that if we can let him speak now and then you come after him, if that is okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry for that. Allow me to invite Mr. Paul to speak to us.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Yes, apologies. Yes, much apologies from my end. And much apologies from my Elder Martin. I know you had begun, but I got an emergency, one of our kids not feeling well. So I felt I would request permission, then I make my submission, then we can proceed to the hospital. I want to thank Elder Matoya for his wonderful presentation. Is one of the persons that one would really take for an example of entrepreneurship, like a topic I was given. And Elder, I want to thank you so much for that informative and on-point submission on how we should grow as entrepreneurs. And my topic of discussion, I was given to submit something to do with entrepreneur mindset. Entrepreneur mindset. And with a thematic theme, building blocks to your career. You know, time and again, entrepreneurship, many times, or even before, it wasn't being taken as a profession. But today, people go to universities, go to different institutions to do entrepreneurship as a profession. And when this came to me, I did ask myself, who is an entrepreneur? And given the time I've been in business, this is one of the definitions that I felt who an entrepreneur should be. That an entrepreneur is that person. Maybe if you could allow me share my screen. Allow me share my screen.
We can see it.
You can see it?
Now it's off. We could see it, but now it has gone off.
Okay, just getting there. You can see it? Are we good to go?
No, I can't see it on my end. We can't see it.
Well, what I was saying is that I was asking myself, are people born to be entrepreneur, or can somebody just develop by building blocks into pursuit of becoming an entrepreneur? Most likely you can develop some of these skills, but learning to be an entrepreneur starts early in life with high level of curiosity and evolves through your early career. Quite a few features or characteristics that will make you successful entrepreneur. Sorry. Sorry. I think we are there.
Yes, now we can see it.
Oh, wonderful. I was saying that most time and again, entrepreneurs are developed. But learning to be an entrepreneur starts early in life with high level of curiosity, and this will evolve throughout your early work career. And quite a few features, like I was saying, will make you successful in your career, and this will make you a successful entrepreneur. Sorry. So entrepreneur goes with this mindset that I was given, meaning that you need to learn quite a number of things in life. And you also need to be optimistic and have high level degree of self-confidence. And add a definition, who is an entrepreneur? And an entrepreneur is somebody who is challenged, an initiator, and a driver. An entrepreneur should initiate something, like when Elder Matoya was submitting, an initiator right from nothing. Again, a challenger and a driver. Somebody that is going to create something new, either an initiative or a business or a company. And this person is beginning sometimes from the end of the venture or project activity. So that entrepreneur is that individual who takes the risk of start their own business based on the idea they have or a product they have created. Right here at my home, I have my wife. She's doing a few items, women's bags. She's being creative. She develops quite a number of products. And to me, she's an entrepreneur. And this is the mindset that a person who is going to be an entrepreneur should be. How do we develop this entrepreneurial mindset? If I would ask myself, or if you would ask yourself, how do I develop this entrepreneurial mindset? Now, how do we develop it? You need to have a thinking that will enable you to overcome the challenges. Be decisive and accept responsibility for your outcomes. It is a constant need to improve your skills, learn from your mistakes, take continuous action on your ideas. Anyone willing to do the work can develop an entrepreneurial mindset. So in other words, this is within the mind. It begins with you, yourself, when you develop an idea and then you put this idea into action. How do you develop this entrepreneurial mindset? You know, it is an idea that has developed through your mind. And this idea, it illuminates from the mind, you nourish it, make it you make it more accurate. What do I mean by making it more accurate? For example, when I was at university, I had a friend of mine who was dealing in what I'm doing. By then, they were dealing in laboratory chemicals and to schools. They were selling schools. And I got an opportunity that he employed me during my vacation before university. And I developed interest. And during the time when I was university, because I had something in mind, I knew I knew I would have something like what he was doing. So an idea developed into my mind. I had to grow and nourish this idea. And in my second year, I remember I registered the company. After registering the company, I thought, where am I going to get the funds? But because I was already employed before and something was going on in my mind, I had to nourish this idea. I had to make it accurate. And this required me to take the next step. It began growing into my mind how to begin. But fortunately, there were friends of mine that were in town, and this friend of mine gave me space for free. Now it's not very easy in Kampala somebody to give you space for free, but he gave me space for free and I wasn't paying rent. But because this idea was in my mind, I began developing it. I had the client. I remember where I was working then. I was in the marketing part of it. So I knew the clients. So this mind grew until money came in. I began investing into this. And later, I began relating this idea with a client. With a client then. That is how we can develop an entrepreneurial mind. It begins within your mind. But there's a big question. There's a big question when we are becoming entrepreneurs, and what's that big thing? That would be very challenging. The biggest killer of entrepreneurial mindset is not what we expect. It is not the failure. It's not the money. You might ask yourself, where am I going to get the money after this idea? It is not the bad ideas. It is all about to do with doubt. Doubt in ourselves, doubt in our surroundings, doubt in our abilities. Self-doubt kills many dreams long before any external factors can come into play. When this doubt, because you do not know the waters that you're going to step in, a number of us could be in different professions. Possibly you're working somewhere, and so how do I leave my work to go into a new venture? But because of this doubt, it might kill your idea and ambition and your abilities. But I want to encourage you that whenever an idea develops, please just take it on. Then we should learn to master your inner game whenever you are in business. And how do we do this? You need to be at the top of the business. Being an entrepreneur is something like joining priesthood or pastorhood. It's not something you do at 9 a.m., you go to office, at 5, you get back. No, no, no. In business and entrepreneurship, bear with me, we do not work like that. It is something that is going to roll around you. Being an entrepreneur is a full-time occupation. Make that preoccupation when you go into this. You eat, you sleep, you breathe, and all your obsession and passion and belief is about this idea. 24 hours, 7 days a week, and 365 days. You need to be preoccupied about this idea for this idea to grow. When you master the entrepreneur mindset, you begin to accomplish many more goals than we've ever imagined. Because this is a baby, this is something that you would think that is going to come up into something very good in future. Now, what are some of these characteristics of entrepreneurial mindset? As humans, we are very unique, yet there are definite qualities of an entrepreneur, ways we tend to think and act. Although there are no entrepreneurial genes, we're either born with or not, I know for the fact that successful entrepreneurs think and act similar ways. Even, I think Elder Matoya will bear with me, that all business people act and behave similar ways. What do I mean by this? Entrepreneurs want to change the world. Others simply want to make money and provide better life for themselves and their families. However, some of us would want to do both. Much as there's making money, but there's also another part of blessing others, working with others. While spending the last time, I would think that's around 15 years in business, myself, I have noted 5 characteristics that all entrepreneurs have. And these are the ones that I would feel I would want to share with you. And what are these? Decisiveness, decision-making. The way to develop decisiveness is to start right where you are with the very next question you face. And that is a quote that I picked from Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich. This is one of the aspects that really touched me, that to proceed or to succeed as an entrepreneur, you must gain the ability to look at a problem or situation, digest all the available information at that point in time, and make a confident decision to move forward. Your ability as a decision maker will make or break your future success. By the way, the opposite end of indecision is one of the greatest causes of business failure. Like many other skills, an entrepreneur needs to be decisive in a set of skills. Be practical. Need to be strengthened in your day-to-day life, starting with the tiniest decision, the smallest decision, even if it's at home, where you come from, the smallest decision that you could make is that's where entrepreneurship begins from. Many of us, when we get small money, we think of spending. You find that the gap of spending is very wide, whereas the gap of income is quite narrow. So that tiny decision that you're going to take is going to determine your entrepreneurship. Number 2, be confident. Entrepreneurs have self-reliance in one's ability and judgment. They exhibit self-confidence to cope with the risk of operating their own business. It should be that I can do it, not I can't do it. It could be a very big thing that how can I begin this, such an idea, but you have to be confident that it is possible, you can do it. There are many skills you need to learn to accomplish everything you want in life. But how do you confidently? So how do you act confidently when you don't have these skills? You need to act with confidence. Like in my area of work right now, before we're doing laboratory chemicals mainly, but of late we are doing quite a number of other things like installation of laboratories, supplying equipment. I mean, this equipment to industries, to universities. But how do we, because some of these things, when you're signing a contract, they would say, we need training and commissioning, yeah? So some of these things, you may not know the skill of the training part of it, but you know, the world has transformed. I mean, some of these training capabilities and manuals are already sent before time. And so these are video clips that you sit down, read about them. And so when the equipment comes to the final user, you're able to do installation of that equipment. Okay? So you're acting with confidence. So it is essential to get used to that uncomfortable feeling of knowing that you don't know what you're doing. So entrepreneurship, confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Point number 3 is accountability. I got this writer, Catherine Palstra. She says, at the end of the day, we are accountable to ourselves. Our success is a result of what we do. That is what Catherine says. Entrepreneurial mindset comes from taking responsibility for your actions and outcomes. You need to internalize and accept that everything that happens at work, you should be responsible and should be accountable. Everything that happens to your business, you should be responsible and you should be accountable for each and everything that you're doing. Whether you succeed or fail, it is your responsibility. From this moment forward, you must accept responsibility of everything in your life and hold yourself accountable to it. And I'm sorry for those of you, but nobody cares how little time or money or external support you have to accomplish your goals. Your circumstances may not be your fault, but your responsibility. So you need to take accountability of each and everything that you're doing in your personal life, in each and everything that you're doing. Now, all that matters is what you are doing right now, not to find your success. There are no more excuses. Accountability is required to entrepreneurs as well as successful employees. Stop blaming others. Hold yourself accountable. Even when you're not the one to blame, take action to fix that problem. The entrepreneur mindset requires you to take complete control and hold yourself accountable to your outcomes, both good or bad. The last item, or the fourth feature or characteristics of entrepreneur mindset, is resilience. Don't give up. Do not give up. As an entrepreneur, you need to learn to deal with making mistakes and failing. They're very inevitable and a part of your growth. The mindset shift takes resilience and it is foundational to entrepreneur mindset. Success rarely happens in straight line. Taking wrong turns and making mistakes is something that happens to everyone. So you don't need to get worried about your failures, about your inability to perform, because it is part of growing up. This mindset shift takes resilience and a foundational to the entrepreneur mindset. Success really happens in a straight line. Taking long turns and making mistakes is something that happens to everyone. That I've already said. The only people who don't make mistakes are the ones who do not do anything. Resilience isn't only helpful when dealing with catastrophic mistakes, it's the way to handle the small, simple decisions you've made that didn't turn out right. The resilience enables you to think and act, move iteratively, making small incremental corrections along the way. And the last item here is humility. Work hard and stay humble. Time and again, as young people, at times, there are people I have seen that are not hardworking. Is interested in something to achieve, but is not hardworking to achieve. Like Elder submitted in his submission, work hard and you're going to see blessings come forth. Now, humility is that freedom from pride to arrogance, and it ties all of the characteristics of entrepreneurial mindset, from decisiveness to confidence. Humility will keep you focused and centered. From accountability to resilience, you will continue to move forward through failure, mistakes, and upsets. This is accomplished with humility for you to achieve all of this. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. You need someone more smarter than you. You need people to work with. We need people who have more experience than you to work with. Now, along with humility comes with coachability, the ability to coach and listen. Many times, a number of entrepreneurs and other friends are not good listeners. And yet, these are people that have been in business before. For an entrepreneur, it's very important for you to listen, because most of the things have been done before. You're not the very first person. People have done this before. If you want to accomplish big things in life, you need to be willing to learn from others. And the knowledge growth mindset. To do things, you need to grow. To grow, you need to learn. No matter what you're trying to accomplish, someone already has done it before. The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 15 talks about this. Thinking like an entrepreneur means seeking out mentors and coaches who have been there you are trying to go, and having the humility to accept the guidance. I have a summary of what this presentation is about, and this is my summary. An entrepreneur mindset is about that certain way of thinking, a way in which to approach challenges and mistakes. It is about an inherent need to improve your skill set and to try again amidst the challenges. When you fail, please try it again. It's gonna work out. It is what you need to propel yourself forward to meet everyday challenges and experience growth. I want to thank you, and I submit, moderator. Thank you so much for listening to me. I need to introduce myself. My name is Paul Mugabi. I worship at Kampala Central Church and one of the elders. And I'm a director of WESTFORD Laboratory Supplies. WESTFORD Laboratory Supplies, we do supply of lab equipment, engineering equipment, but with a background of science. Basically, this is science. Industries that are coming up today need equipment, and these are the equipment that we supply. Before, we're dealing with schools, but as the world has changed, we also had to change and leave that area and then concentrate on an area that was real enriching to us. And so we do equipment, we do training of those equipment, and this is how we make money. I thank you. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul. Thank you for the submission regarding an entrepreneurial mindset. We will let you go, and we'll have our last speaker, Mr. Martin Ssekajja, and he will talk about placing yourself in the career ladder. Just a reminder that all these presentations are under the major theme of building blocks for our career. So think about your career and see how whatever is going to be submitted fits in to you as one who has attended this webinar. At this point, I would like to invite Mr. Paul once again to make a presentation to us. Sorry, Mr. Ssekajja, you're most welcome.
All right, good evening once again. I want to thank our Elder Mugabi. He's our first elder at Kampala Central Church. I also worship from Kampala Central Church. My topic is placing yourself in the career ladder. My name is Martin Ssekajja. I'm the elder in charge of development at Kampala Central Church. I want to thank again Elder Matoya for the support he's given us in constructing the church and so many other projects that we're undertaking at Kampala Central Church. I also work with government, Kampala Capital City Authority. I've worked with Makerere University as a tutor, assistant lecturer, and also I've worked with the Uganda Revenue Authority and now with KCCA for the past couple of years since the formulation of KCCA. My topic is about relating to what the subject is. I tried to break it down for everyone to be very, to understand it clearly. So we're saying that the word career is often used to refer to a profession, occupation. For example, a teacher, a lawyer, and anything. We've now heard about the entrepreneur. And when you give another context to it or perspective, it is a period of time spent in life working or doing a particular thing. You know, career development has also got a life cycle, like many other aspects of life. So it does have a phase in, there are different studies about the phases of career development. But I chose this one because it summarizes most of the phases. The first one being self-exploration. At this stage, we believe someone is at an understudy, maybe in a family. The family is trying to understand what this child is capable of. I understand a number of you when you were maybe in your primary class, you were asked what you want to be in future. I don't know if Elder Matoya said you wanted to be an architect. I don't know what you said you wanted to be and at what stage in life you are, whether you're close to what you wanted to be or you're still on course. But certainly I don't remember answering that question. If I ever did, I think I must have said to be a captain or a pilot. Then, so self-exploration is at that stage where you're trying to find out what exactly you're supposed to be doing. The next phase covers career exploration. At this point in time, remember the career explorations we used to do in maybe secondary schools, where they would try to advise you about what you would do, what you're most suited to do, and perhaps it even informed the decision of which combination you would do at secondary school, at high school. And then it goes into also what you study. And then finally, you start doing career planning and management. At this point in time, you are at a stage where you can plan. You're doing industrial training in a given area. And also, you could be, it could be about recruitment. After your recruitment, you could also look at another perspective of your employment. One time I was in a certain country, China, and in one of the questions I tasked them was, how do you deal with unemployment? And the response was, they did not have any problem to do with unemployment. In fact, they said they had a problem with the overemployment, where there are so many jobs compared to the number of people that needed the jobs. And they said that it was a practice amongst them for them to keep changing jobs because they wanted to change. If, for instance, you're working here as a manager of this other area, then you could easily, the only reason you want to change is not because of money or looking for employment. It is for the other opportunities that you want to challenge yourself. So at this point, the third phase is at around that point in time. There are people here who have gained the necessary experience and broken barriers, and it is upon them to actually determine what they want to do. So relating to the question at hand, how do we build contributing towards our career ladder? I personally came up with things that I have experience in, the various aspects that I presented. You could have more, and there are many studies, I think, online that you could pick, but I had to pick the ones that I relate with more easily and that can relate with you as well. And I'll be breaking each one of them. So up from the bottom stair, you're looking at you're looking at personal upbringing. And to another level, you are looking at talent, knowledge, skills development, all the way to your door of success, your open door that you want to enter. So starting with personal upbringing, you all know that family is the foundation of everything that we aspire to have in life. And in fact, Ellen G. White many times teaches us about child education, because home is the best school that anyone can attend to. And what is happening in nowadays is a lot of parents are busy out there looking for money and looking for so many other things. and forgetting the noble responsibility at the home. A number of you could have benefited from parents that were available. I don't know if that is the generation, but there are people who grew up under the care of various parents, their parents. So they did influence whatever they wanted to do in life. So it is important. I know at this stage, this might have surpassed you, but the reason why we make these presentations is for you to learn. You'll one day become a parent. And it will be your noble duty to ensure that you help your children to nurture their career. I'll give an example. When I was much younger, my dad used to give me canes if I did not do the math numbers well. So I picked interest in math classes. I mean, doing mathematics, solving riddles and stuff like that. And I used to like doing mathematics. Every time anything that has calculations and mathematics, the natural ones, I picked interest in doing. Even if I did not even actually take the math at a later stage in life, but I've seen mathematics applicable in a number of things that I do. And I find many people saying that you're very calculative, but it's because it is something that we've gained from home. The other lesson I learned unconsciously was, Elder talked about mainframe computers. At our home, in my room, they used to dump computers all the time. They would dump computers, computers that were due for repair and stuff like that. So I would pick interest in repairing these computers, networking these computers. I was in a headquarter, much younger, but it was a dumping place for all sorts of books related to computer science and the IT and the computer applications, Windows 95, Windows DOS. So I read all these books. I did, well, very young in secondary school. In fact, I was in secondary, but I was reading these books. I think that's how I lost even interest in so much of academics, but I was so much interested in computer stuff. And it also did have a bearing on my siblings, but this is a home. So you see what a family can do to change someone's career. When I grew up, I somehow by default found myself in computer science and information technology and solving issues of that sort. So finally, how you nurture your child. And I know that a number of you are doing courses because of what you've been going through. Now, in the past also, I used to hear of families. They would say that family is for the engineers. That family is for architects. That family is for... Nowadays, I don't see that happening, but it is important because this is the foundation of every career. So if you've lost it, at this stage, please check it in your various families and ensure that you bring the future generation up to the task, and also help to nurture your other people in the career that they are supposed to be pursuing. I did take keen interest in talking to my children, however little they are. Even at 5 years, I was telling my boy what he should be doing. I kept speaking to him because there are opportunities I know in life now. Unless he takes the opportunity now, he will never catch up. So I want him, as he studies, he's aware of what he really wants to be very clearly. So whatever it turns out, I don't know, but I think that could be our contribution. Of course, Elder talked about the social relationships. Church, the reason why we are here is because we are serving freely. Every time we are called to serve church, we'll definitely put in time and come. It's because of that relationship, and so everyone is benefiting. So it's important that you cling to some sort of association, to a network, to, for that social relationship. Allow me to move to the next. Self-exploration, I already explained, and career exploration. The second step focuses on talent development. And in talent development, what are you trying to achieve? A number of us do not know what our talents are. If I asked you what your talent is, I don't know if you'll be very sure what your talent is. Many people struggle. But anything that you find doing easily, with much ease, naturally, is your talent. And it is God-given. In fact, the book of Romans chapter 12, verse 6, I would paraphrase that we have different gifts according to the grace given unto us. Some are given to be professors, apostles, others teachers and the like. So others have a gift of prophecy. So talents, if you have a talent, you find doing something easy. Some of you watch football, I've heard of this. Messi is naturally talented. He does things with ease, but others might have to put in a lot of effort. So what is your talent? Knowing your talent helps you ease how you execute your duties and your career. So how do you also fit your talent into your career? Your career, it is important that you find where your strength is and then align your talent to what you want to be in life. Then you nurture it slowly by slowly. Again, I would give an example. For instance, personally, I'm a person who likes mobilizing, who likes solving problems. That puts me so many times in a position where I find this natural calling. So it could be something that you have as well. I don't know what you're doing. I've seen Joshua calling us, sending everything. So naturally, I would tend to think that guy is a mobilizer. He is good at putting resources together. He's a leader. So your talent drives you. So make sure that you really understand your talent. You understand it best and use it to the benefit of your career development. So, and remember in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, about the parable of talents, the master gave his servants some sort of investment. One he gave 5, another and 2, another and 1. And God expected a return on investment. So we are now also. We are required to be people that can account for the investment that God has put in us. Don't take it for granted that you've actually gone to school. The third step that I will talk about is knowledge. You've heard in the past people saying that knowledge is power. I've been to a place, let me be more open. One time I found myself in front of the head of state, alone, with no interference. He was in his moods. And he asked me one simple question. He asked me, what do you want me to do for you? And I did not have an answer to that question. In fact, I told him I did not need anything. Then I've also observed that several times I've seen people who are, as the head of state is making an address or is in a meeting, there's someone seated on the right-hand side, and that man is always the same. I might not disclose the name, but this man is like an encyclopedia. Every time he asks any question, whether it is for 1962, he is always eager to respond. He knows the detail. He moves with all the detail in his head. He has all this knowledge. So what about us? What is it that you can do without knowledge? So we need to be informed. We need to have a lot of knowledge at our fingertips. I've seen all of you enjoy, I think, the presentation and preaching of Pastor Randy Skit. He memorized all the scriptures in the Bible. And some people come to listen to him because of that gift. It simplifies his presentation. It makes his career as a pastor, okay, it's a calling, but it makes his ministry much easier. I've also seen Pastor Mark Finley, when making so many presentations, he does have a lot of reference to text, meaning that he has done a lot of reading. So what does knowledge add to you? Earlier, Elder Matoya informed you about him having been an architect. He went to do an MBA. I personally also did. I was one of the best in information technology at Makerere. But then I had to spice up my knowledge with something that was rare in the market. That was to do with business administration again, a master's in business administration. Why did I have to do this? I found myself in a number of implementation or solutions that I was trying to give or create. I needed to have knowledge about business administration. I needed to have knowledge about accounting. I needed to have knowledge about, the accounting languages. For instance, the hedging and the like, management presentations. So you need to look in your career, throw a torch, flash a torch in your career and see where you have knowledge gaps and try as much as possible to bridge the gap. The reason I'm emphasizing this, I've given you some reasons. One, it helps you boost your confidence. Every time you speak from the point of knowledge, you have this confidence. In fact, that's why you hear as people are going to speak, they first read their credentials or their level of education, because it gives you confidence to know who is going to, going to speak to you. Or if you're going to hire someone that is going to construct something for you, you have to read and know their knowledge. It gives you that confidence. So knowledge boosts that confidence. Every time you present your papers and there's a missing gap, you find it challenging to convince whoever is going to give you a job or any kind of assignment. Of course, it also creates opportunities ahead of the competition. We are in a very competitive world. The more knowledge you have, the better. So you've seen people who are multilinguistic, they know French, Germany, what, and then they are on top of that, they have something. What is it that you have in addition to what everyone else has? Of course, it also helps with improving decision-making. Every time you have knowledge, you have a point of reference before you make a decision. Now, what I can guide on this is sometimes people want to know what is the limit of the knowledge I should have. Some people specialize in having a scope and say, this is my subject matter area. I'm going to focus on this and know everything about this. Say, for instance, if you are a business, you are an accountant, you want to exhaust everything about accounting. So that every time they want to refer to an accountant, they say, we only have so and so that can do this. In other cases, you could be a person gifted with the ability to know a little about everything. So, and many times I've also fallen prey. Sometimes you get a very senior phone call, they call you and ask you, give me this instantly, this and this and this and this, and you've got to have knowledge on your fingertips. So it's important. Knowledge can help you increase your knowledge. The fourth step that I wanted to talk about is the skills development. You know that there are several skills that we do have, and I want to refer to what the bank was, the World Bank gave. One of them is the cognitive skills. Now, this encompasses the idea of creating complex ideas. I've attended a class on what they call creative thinking. You see, what the whites do better than most of us here is before they go out to implement anything, they create sessions, rigorous sessions where they do creative thinking, where you need to test and have an experiment of whatever you're going to do. We rarely do this. So you just kind of, for instance, form a group and say, we are going to solve floods in the city. How do you solve floods in the city? Then you start generating ideas of how to deal with that. Social emotional skills. This has got to do with teamwork and leadership, and Elder highlighted more about this. Technical skills, definitely. In your area of expertise, you need to improve your technical skills. Digital skills. Now, the kind of skills we are talking about are the ones that are meeting your 21st century. The skills that you need in order to survive in this century. You can no longer be shy about digital skills. So you need to be, to embrace technology. Then, of course, the fifth step is health management. Many youth at your stage also make so many mistakes. You find someone so brilliant and he commits fatal mistakes in terms of managing health. They live reckless lives. Sometimes they hardly find a way of dealing with stress. So you find that someone maybe starts resorting to drinking and drug abuse, even someone you most trusted that this is a God-fearing person. So whatever you cannot have control to, don't start. So please manage your health. Your health is important. You'll never achieve your career if you never manage your health. Someone once said that there are so many unimplemented ideas that are on the graveyard. That was Miles, Dr. Miles. So it means that there are many people who die before accomplishing their career goals. Please manage your health. And of course, as a church member, you just remember that you can manage dieting, deal with the dieting. You also have health risks, avoid sexually transmitted diseases. The youth are fond of testing. I do encourage you. A number of us finished school virgins and we benefited out of it. So it is still good for you to stay healthy. The one simple mistake you might ever make in life might cost your career. So don't take risks. And of course, exercising, have a culture of embedding exercise in your career. Of course, the sixth item that I wanted to talk about, Elder labored to talk about it, innovation and invention. Of course, it talked about the unexpected. How do you have solutions for things that have come unexpectedly? How do you deal with them? There are several sources of innovation. It could be process needs. I started developing payments systems, and a colleague of mine also started developing payment systems. Remember when Umeme Pay was done? Remember when national water payments were done? On average, now Umeme payments and national water transact over 500 billion through the system on a monthly basis. Now, if you had a commission of just 1 shilling, how much would you generate in a month? It would generate a lot of money. So that gives you that the process that clients were having of lining up to pay Umeme and what, you've broken that away. There's another system that we are building, and this is for ticketing and entertainment. And again, it's a commission-based system. So again, it generates, we anticipate that it will generate a lot of money where current clubs and associations have been having issues. So process needs help sort issues. When you come to industry and market structure, of course, the industry changes depending on so many market changes, demographics. I was taught that innovations can be new in a new location. So if you, for instance, discovered that Kampala has had enough of a given product, is it possible that you can take it to Busika, Bugema? Is it possible that you can take it a little further? So demographics have it's also a form of innovation. If there's a product that you can do, right now there's something that we are doing for the local governments. We did it in Kampala, but now we are spreading it all over the country. And it does not come, it comes cheap on the other end, but it has so many benefits. So by changing location, changes in perception, and so many other changes, new knowledge. So new technologies, Elder tried to mention those, but in the interest of time, allow me to move to the last one. The last one covers the soft skills that everyone is entitled to have, really. There is no cost to having a number of these soft skills. You do not have to pay anything to get these soft skills. For you to be disciplined and to be referred to as the most disciplined person is a benefit to you only. For you to build a skill in interpersonal relationships is actually your personal wound. When it comes to integrity, you can trade the entire country, you find very few people that have integrity. So it means that if you're a person of integrity, you are one that you're a rare commodity automatically in the market. I'll give an example. Someone gave me an idea. I mean, just gave me some information that one time they were looking for at least 100 people in the country that had integrity and that would run organizations. It didn't matter which religion they were professing, but for as long as they had integrity. And even 100 could not be found. So what is it that you can do right now? One of the commodities that can sell you is integrity right now. So please work on your integrity, let people know you as a person of integrity. And then, of course, humility. It's interesting how you know how people that are well-to-do are very humble. I've been taught a lesson actually in life. I've found the most well-to-do people are very, very humble. You'd imagine Elder Matoya you would hardly find Elder Matoya looking for food to eat, or he is well-to-do but very humble. Elder Mugabi, very well-to-do but humble. So it is a lesson for us that we need to prepare. We should be seen to be humble, and we should live humility. So let's be humble, and God will surely open up opportunities for us. Definitely communication, a number of us are not good at communicating. I've seen this with some disciplines. Engineers are usually very poor communicators. So they need to be helped. If you're an engineer, it would be good to help yourself improve your communication, proposal writing, and stuff like that. So patience, for you to know that when things fail, it's not the end of the life. It's also important. And of course, the art of excellence. Excellence. I always preach and talk about excellence. What is it that you do? And one writer said that excellence is a state in which you do something where you exceed expectations. Someone actually said that we are better, do something we are better, do good and be better than expected. I always see people whose reports are thrown out, chased away because something is missing in a report. It is poorly formatted. It is not well researched. It lacks thoroughness. I implore you people, this is the best time for you to start exhibiting the art of excellence. Be the best you can. Some of you are told first-class people can't get employment anywhere. Who said so? If that's what you have to do right now, please do it, because now you have the time to ensure that you get the best out of that. So please be mindful, be excellent in everything that you're doing, and opportunities will definitely come because people will be able to identify you as an excellent person. I thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Martin Ssekajja. And I want to believe that those of us who have been listening have picked at least one or two. At this point in time, I would like us to ask questions. There are some questions I've seen in the chat, and Elder Matoya has answered one of them. But now, if you have any questions that regards the topics that have been covered today, please, you can ask them in the chat, or you can raise your hand and we shall ask you to unmute and you can ask your questions.
Hello. Hello.
Moses, you can go ahead, please. Ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much. I have been really blessed for all the presenters who have really done great work. Now, I'm just asking because I've been having problems with the network. How should I access all that has been delivered today? Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. There is a recording for this meeting. So if you can put your email on the chat and the recording will surely get to you. Just send your email, write your email in the chat and we shall send you the recording. Do we have people that have questions or maybe any comments about what has been presented today? There was a question in the chat that was talking about mentorship, and Elder Matoya rightly answered that question, but I would like to put it also to Mr. Ssekajja. Along the 7 steps that you have given to us, where do we put mentorship, and have you had some mentors along your career path?
Yes, I have had mentors, very serious mentors. I earlier talked about family as the first source of mentorship. Especially, I told you about the computers, what used to be called dumped computers, ended up interesting me into doing a lot with IT and technology, and a lot of those books that were dumped. So that is the first area of mentorship. I've had people mentoring me. One of them is Honorable Ida. I remember when I was going to choose my course again, there was she guided me along and helped. And also I remember when we were trying to, the willingness to improve the skill, I would mobilize resources to set up internet cafes, and people would willingly bring resources to get along. So I think she was very helpful. The church has had a number of people that are very helpful. I earlier mentioned the Elder Matoya and many elders that have given us opportunities to speak at various places. They've also been speaking, and we picked a number of lessons. Every time we'd have a camp meeting, people come with a lot of resources. Elder Milka Singh many times would come to teach us about child growth. He used to teach us about child upbringing, and in fact, I'm applying a number of things that he has been teaching. So the issue of mentorship is comprehensive, and but the other one that I learned a lot immediately after finishing my school, my father brought for me someone, an economist. He even doesn't recall that economist, and he said he told him to speak to me. This economist told me very simple economic thing, a very simple economic language that has been very helpful in my life. He was very practical. He told me a lot of assets in life are fixed and hence have a lot of demand as they grow. So don't mind wherever you'll be investing. It doesn't matter whether it is a very, very small piece of land or far away. I give you assurance, it is fixed. It will give you much value whenever you grow. And I've seen that, lived up seeing that grow. And I do not remember this gentleman. He was like an angel. So it's always important. And it's always important to be under mentorship. Submit yourselves to mentorship. In the steps, it is under the skills development, I guess. Because under the cognitive skills, under the technical skills, we normally have people that we fall under. So yes, I've had a number of people mentoring. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that response. Dr. Mary Mukokona, you had something. Please, you're welcome. it was a mistake.
Thank you
Mary?
for allowing me to unmute, because initially I didn't have the powers to unmute. I would like to thank the powerful team of Elder Ssekajja, Matoya, Paul Mugabi. You've really blessed the students. This is Mary Mukokoma. I just have a simple observation. On the career ladder, you are going up. Have you had an experience? I'm talking to Elder Martin Ssekajja, where you sleep as you are going up along the career ladder, or you face hurdles and you have to step back? Can you briefly comment on that? Thank you.
A very interesting question. Definitely, there are so many hindrances or constraints. Initially, I actually planned to draw a downward trend or arrow or forces that can affect your career going up or trying to climb your career ladder. One of them, definitely, because a number of them are working in reverse. The moment you do not have knowledge, you're definitely cut off. The moment you cannot synchronize or utilize your talents, or invest wisely in your tech talents, you'll have challenges. But along the career ladder, definitely, there are areas that have been a challenge. In the earlier phase of my career, I had challenges to do with my administration, communication. You would have a lot of things. You'd be so technical in terms of maybe technology, but you would find users difficult to understand whatever you were proposing. So the problem of communication was such a big issue on my career development. And when I did the MBA, it actually addressed that gap, because I think I grew up the ladders about 3-4 times immediately after doing the MBA, because whereas I was technical, I had a lot of gaps, and the knowledge I earned through the business administration, the master's in business administration, cover up the gaps. Of course, as you also trade the soft skills, one of them is integrity. And the more you become a person of integrity in especially government places and other places and so many other business environments, you attract many challenges or people that and many enemies sometimes. And it can even lead to either ending your career. It is a risk. For instance, where you're saying, no, here we can use this much money, and this is too much, it is risky. I'll give an example. In government, most people are fond of, especially in IT, people are used to having consultancies. These consultancies are usually a lot of money. They are maybe $10 million, $20 million. Now here you come and say, no, this one we do not have to use that money. We can do it internally. Let's start to build internal capacity. So there's a time I took a very severe risk as saying I have a team of people that can do this kind of work. I just request of that given amount of money, let's just maybe allocate them a small portion, less than 10% of that budget. I think it almost landed me problems. So, and so many things in that career. So there are risks that you face. I almost lost a job because of that. So there are risks that are involved in your career path. So like we said, that we need to commit ourselves before God, because God is our point of refuge, and is also our defender in times of trouble. So, and I know that a number of you have testimonies when life has been hard, God has been there for us. So there have been challenges, and God has helped us sail through. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those responses. Let me now invite our last two people, that is Michael Ahimbisiwe And after him, we shall have Enoch Kalemba. Then Elder will respond. And then after that, we shall invite Elder Milka for the concluding remarks and the prayer. Let me say that again.
Maximum.
We shall have Mike Wahimsiwe, then we have Enoch Kalemba, then Mr. Martin will respond. And after that, we shall have and give his closing remarks. And after that, we shall invite Elder Milka to give the closing remarks and also lead us in a word of prayer. Mike Wahimsiwe, you're welcome. Michael.
Thank you so much, Albert. In a special, I want to thank our elders for sparing their time to give us this wonderful information and guide us on our way forward. I have two questions. One, how best can someone transition from, you've acquired a particular skill or been trained in a particular profession, but when you get to the job, there are different things they require of you, and some of them might require you to go back to school. So what is the best avenue to transition from an original training that you had at the beginning for you to suit a particular job? Is it to maybe first withdraw and go back to school? Is it to enroll for different courses? How best can you balance it out? The second thing, at times, to be able to survive, especially here, you find you have a career that you're trying to develop and maybe a small business that you either want to run or invest in. So the question I have is, how best can you balance to grow a career and maybe start or run a business that you're not fully engaged in? As Elder Mugabi said, you need to be part of the business in and out of it. But how best, is there a way that someone can have this trade-off? You start maybe a small business, oversee it, and still grow your career as you advance. Thank you so much. I submit.
Thank you very much, Michael. Let's have lastly Enoch Kalemba, and then Elder Martin will respond, and then we shall invite Elder Milka. Enoch.
I think Enoch's microphone, I don't know, we are trying to, he's unmuting, but he's bringing another voice. So I think he's
Okay. Let's have Elder Martin respond to the issues that were raised by Mike Wahimsiwe. Then I also saw one in the chat, especially how do you develop the soft skills? This person was asking about honesty, but maybe you can also give a general comment about humility, integrity, and discipline, and also give us your closing remarks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you once again. If I could start with the question from Michael about trying to manage the transition from while you're at the workplace. Sometimes you go to the workplace and then you'll find that the skills required are different from the ones that you have. In government, it is a lot easier because you can actually structure your training curriculum to be to fit your career development skills. For instance, I know that there are programs in Bugema that are only for Sunday students. You only study one day in a week, that's Sunday, and so that you can help restructure your skill development. It is one strategy that you can adopt. Use what you have to get the necessary skills that you have to meet your job requirements. And of course, the other skills come into play. How do you manage your relationships with your supervisors, Some people, if they learn that you've gone back to school, it is extremely risky because they know that you're after their jobs. So you need to know the kind of environment that you're dealing with to ensure that you plan appropriately. I don't think it is a problem for you to find that the job requirement requires a different kind of skill that you can improve. So there are several avenues that you can help have a mix of both. I want to give you an example. I used to study a degree course while I was working during the day. So I would have to blend study, do a degree, and all the time, even when I did a master's, I still had to attend classes. I looked for a program that would meet my time frame. For instance, mine would be for 5 to 10 p.m. every evening. And of course, by that time we are done with work, and you had to attend 50%, the 60% of the classes. So definitely, I would not attend the Saturday classes, but at least I already had the 60%. I think that you can have that. The other question you mentioned about being part of your business. How can you be? Can't you start small and be? Can't you manage your business by having part-time? I think if I try to understand you, can't you start small and then keep graduating? Or you wanted to mean that can you also start your business? Can you give ample time, a little time that you can to manage your business? Now, depending on which kind of employment you have, it does determine the kind of businesses that you'll be able to do. For instance, if you know that a person that is working in government, you will be cheating government. So that means that you can only go into businesses that you are in position to conduct while you are on leave, or while you are able to run it without necessarily being there. I'll give an example of small estate managing estates is, for instance, achievable if you're working in a place that does require your full-time availability. I started a number of businesses while I was still doing private businesses, but one thing I learned, they would fail for as long as I was not available, because however much you trusted and entrusted people, they would still fail to manage the businesses. So if you do not have time, the kind of business now I do, I have control over it wherever I am. That's why I'm in digital services. So it is important to be involved in your business if you want it to grow. So especially if you're starting a business, give it all the necessary time that you want it to, because it has a bearing on how successful your business is. The other aspect, I think the other question was on how do you grow your honesty, your integrity, your discipline. The Bible gives us several teachings about controlling a number of our other aspects of life, especially the fruits of the Holy Spirit, gentleness, self-control. So some of these you keep learning with time. For people to learn that you're a person of integrity, you'll have to pass a test of time. They are costly in terms of time and execution, but after some time, people have a trust in you. And even when God trusts you in the little that you have, God himself praises you or promotes you to a rank better than you can handle. In fact, he promised. When you look at David, no one ever knew about him. He was busy taking care of getting the necessary skill of fighting animals, protecting his father's sheep. But even if the father could not, and the brothers would not see him, God saw him from a distance and said, that is the person that I want. And I've seen so many promotions, even in the current government, that have been a result of such. You hear the president handpick someone far without anyone ever having trust that person or knowing that that is a person of integrity. But somehow God promotes that person because of who they are. So these attributes that we build you do not have to wait for a return on them. It is just our natural calling to be people that are disciplined, people that are humble, people that are full of integrity. And with time, only time will limit how successful you will be. You don't have to do them only because you expect a benefit, but they should be part of our DNA as Adventists. May God bless you.
May He bless you too. Thank you, Elder, for the presentation and the time. Thank you so much. On behalf of MUSDAA and also on behalf of all those who have attended, thank you. At this point, I would like to take this opportunity to invite our Elder Milka, to give us closing remarks and also lead us in a word of prayer. Elder, you're most welcome.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Brother Albert. And I also would like to record my appreciation and thanks to Mr. Matoya, the architect and principal partner of Creations Consult, and also Mr. Martin Ssekajja, a senior and IT director of Kampala City Capital City Authority, a well-renowned IT professional in the Republic of Uganda, and also a well-accomplished entrepreneur, Mr. Paul Mugabi. Thank you so much. Your contributions has really added value to the young people and most of the invited guests to come and witness this program. And I really want to record my appreciation and sincere thanks for sharing your valuable experience. I'm tempted to speak a lot, but I think we are past time. But I would like to just stress on one. And as Mr. Matoya had mentioned, the network and the one extract that I was highly impressed about Mr. Martin's presentation is the skill development, and Mr. Paul Mugabi's one extract that really impressed me is the perseverance and having the right attitude and having the right people around. Now, many people, they always love to have mentors, and many times you may have your path, but you may not have the right people to guide you. But in my experience, many people just come and just tell me, why don't you be my mentor? Or someone comes and why don't you become a mentor for somebody? That is not how you begin. First of all, you need to understand what you have and how you can bring that out to that person whom you want to work with on to be your mentor. Because when you come straight and you ask me, can you be my mentor? Maybe I would nod my head, but I may not be interested in you unless and until I see a potential in you. In many cases, I have seen people picking their words, which means they'll have to really see a potential. And most important is, you should not pretend as if you know everything. Find out and discover your own self and explain what you can do and how you expect that person to help you in specific aspect of your self-development, whether it could be business or whatever. So I think maybe for another time, MUSDAA can help identify in having a presentation on building networks. But I think we established this Achievers Club a few years ago, and this has been a practice to have such beautiful and scintillating presentations from accomplished professionals from Uganda. And I'm grateful that with a long silence for the past 1.5 years because of the COVID, we finally had achieved this through the MUSDAA members and the organizers. I'm grateful to you. Thank you for organizing this and the wonderful publicity that you put in. And I'm also thankful to all the viewers, participants, for having taken part in this. I'm really grateful, and I'm sure you have been blessed richly. Continue to be a part of such discussions even in future when you are requested to do so. And I want to wind up this program and bring it to a close. I also thank the organizers, Albert, Joshua, and all the other people who have been behind this. I'm really thankful, and I encourage you to do much more as we had always been doing. May God bless you and enrich you with a lot of wisdom. Thank you, Mr. Matoya. May God bless you for your participation at the time. Mr. Martin, I'm sure it was a valuable time on a Sunday in your busy schedule. We are grateful to you. And also Mr. Paul, our accomplished entrepreneur, my sincere thanks to him as well. And I want to officially bring this session to a close and request that we humble ourselves and pray. Loving God, we are grateful to you for this beautiful time and the breath of life and the good health you have blessed us with, the protection that you have given us. May your name be glorified. And as long as we live in this world, we are expected to be heads and not a tail. Loving God, it is not possible without you and without your help and without your leading. And so we depend on you, your wisdom and your leading, such that we will be enriched. And we can definitely say in all our pride and say that indeed our God has blessed us to be head and never a tail. And to be a head, it takes a winding journey. It takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot of experience in circumstances, challenges, issues. And in each and everything, dear Lord, when we see people around us who had accomplished, like the presenters who had really accomplished well in their lives, we can only see their success, but many times we forget to recognize and to identify and to discover the path that they had wound to take them where they are right now. Help us to see and accept, to go through and yield to such circumstances and challenges that would make us what we need to be and what we desire. And we can definitely say, indeed, God has blessed us through all these circumstances and experiences and discoveries and strategies which would help us to be successful in our lives. I once again thank you, Lord, for taking us through this evening. Bless us through the rest of the time, and may peace abide with us. Protect everyone from the harmfulness of the pestilence. May you kindly take care of those who are still in the sick bed. I also pray for the visitors, many people, young people who have joined us in the evening presentation. May you bless them and flood them with your truth and also wisdom from above. Thank you once again for the opportunity to take all the glory. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.